What's up guys, welcome back for another YgoPro Duel video, the new Elementsaber support. A couple of days ago there were 3 new cards revealed, 3 new monsters, an Earth monster which is basically the Breed Dragon for the deck. I believe it's just fine as a 2-off, but I might bump it up to 3, but the main deck is super stacked as it already is. Currently sitting at, I think 41, indeed 41 cards. The dark one is actually also quite nice again, somewhat creating a soft lock against your opponent. It's like a Tsukuyomi. Again, Book of Moon once per turn. And then the third one is the water type monster. Again, can be crucial to activate Willard's effect, you know, the high level 6 monster, to give you the extra immune effects, right? And then for the rest, I believe that the deck list is fairly stable of the elemental lords. Moulinglacia, I believe, is needed. Same for Grinder Golem and the other staple link engines. To, you know, the deck is just too heavily based on the field spell, and if you don't draw the field spell, you have to have access to something like Isolde to give you extra draws. Again, a couple of examples, first of all. And the thing is that I like about this deck is that even though you're super dependent on your field spell, you can, like so many plays, right? Even Willard sets up your graveyard with 2 Elementsabers, and after that, thanks to that new Earth one, not really sure about the name, you know, that pretty much the Breed Dragon of the deck, you can pump out some nice combos, even though with only 2 cards you can already establish like a Moulinglacia, and creating again a soft lock against your opponent, depending on which cards you send to the graveyard with Willard. Again, Battery Man, okay, that's a good start. Well, it's just Willard, it's a card that I didn't really thought it was this good. I mean, I didn't give it enough respect compared to my previous video about Elementsabers. I kinda underestimated the power, right? No field spell, so that's kinda a problem, right? Although I do have the option to put one of his monsters face down on the level 4s, I believe that was most important. Prevent Cowboy if he does have it, but yeah, mainly Bakushka. Bakushka, the big threat. Scapegoat again to the rescue, but again I also have that Thunder Lord in my hand to pretty much Raigeki the entire field, right? At this point I was still playing Pathfinder since, well, it's pretty obvious again, you want to get to that field spell as fast as possible, but in the finalized build, and this at least my last build, I eventually cut it, but it's a bit difficult, right? Eventually I sacrifice, or at least I decide to sacrifice my next battle phase to go for Draco's Serpent, and then indeed Skull Deed to get 4 draws, hopefully, you know, like draw well, at least one of those 4 draws, access to hopefully the field spell, maybe Scapegoat or something, you know, that establishes my field presence. Scapegoat, definitely a very nice card here. Eventually go for that Firewall Dragon, you know, creating the soft lock again. I have to skip my battle phase since I believe, you know, the Moulinglacia, I believe, or the Thunderlord was sent to the graveyard previously. Again, the Dark Elementsaber putting the opponent monster face down. He does go for Bakushka, but again, I can't attack. I have to skip my battle phase again. I know the restriction of, you know, the Elemental Lords, but it's a big restriction, right? Maybe one of the big reasons why Elementsabers, even though they are, I think, well designed, a good deck, not top tier material. Well, depends, right, if they are getting more support after this. I'm very low on life points, luckily no Cowboy on his part, but still I have Mexi. I do have the Tsukuyomi, you know, the Elementsaber Tsukuyomi outside of the field. I have the field spell still intact, that boosts all my monsters pretty much, so if he doesn't have Honest, I should be in a good position. Borilo Dragon, definitely not a threat. Thanks to Mexi, got a couple of draws off, and now I instantly, very easy, can go for game right. Use the the Breed Dragon of the deck, and that's so cool, right? But yeah, you can, thanks to that, the Breed Dragon of the Elementsabers, you can eventually also reborn any Elemental Lord from your graveyard, but I think you had to summon it previously, or at least before you are able to reborn it, so it has to be properly summoned to the field. But again, something like reusing your Lightning Lords or Moulinglacia, for example, is quite busted, pretty much for free, right, off of your Breed Dragon. Instant Fusion is also a nice addition to the deck. Instantly gives you access to, you know, very obvious 1000 Ice Restrict. I'm running the level 5 Water Warrior type monster. It's just an extra piece to the combo, as you'll see in a couple of moments. At this point, I was running 2 equips in the main deck, both Autonomous Action Unit, I believe the name is, and Moon Mirror Shield. Again, just to... If you don't draw them in your opening turn, I believe the chances, well, in practice, are like 50%. Like 50%, half of the time, you're either, yeah, most of the time, opening at least one of those 2 equips. And that's a problem since you need those 2 equips in your deck to use your Isolde. You'll see it in a couple of moments. Like those, pretty much, again, 2 card combinations that lead into some very nice shenanigans, I'm honest about that. Borealo Dragon is not going to help. Well, yeah, the Autonomous Action Unit is kinda decent again. It gives you an extra monster on your side of the field, upgrading your Link monsters, and possibly reborning like a hand trap from your opponent, like an Ash Blossom, for example, a tuner that opens up access to Crystal Needle Fiber. Again, you know, giving your field of giving you more monsters to yeah, possibly cover Skull Deed, get the 4 draws, etc. And here, the lovely 2 card combination of Instant Fusion and the Field Spell. You know, the Field Spell searches out Willard, or at least, yeah, the Wind, you know, the Stratos, and eventually, thanks to the Wind, you're able to search out Moulinglacia. And, you know, keep upgrading your stuff thanks to Instant Fusion, Isolde, get a search after that, etc, etc. Summon Sorceress, again, you were able to set up your Moulinglacia. So, this is one of the reasons why I might prefer running like a small amount of equips, and you know, the equips aren't really that dead if you draw them, but it's not really too optimal. I mean, it's like drawing, well, it's not really like drawing Gemite Garnet, but you know what I mean, right? If they're still in your deck and you're able to summon Isolde after that, or before, you know, before you draw those, man, you can pump out those nice fields. The Raigeki top deck, very nice. Not really sure, yeah, I do have Willard on my side of the field, not really sure which attributes I send to the graveyard. Probably prevent destruction by battle and prevent targeting, since I did negate the Raigeki with the level 4 Elementsaber. So that's cool. I mean, the deck does have a couple of soft locks going, especially, and again, Grinder Golem helps with that, like double Firewall Dragon, special summoning like the 2 warriors in your hand, Isolde, get a search after that, you know, just establish your board, right? And if it's not for double Firewall, you can just go for, well, Skull Deed, get 4 draws. It's just the main, at least the main goal for that is keep digging for your Field Spell. Again, the Field Spell is the MVP. Again, a solid opening. I believe I used Willard and the Breed Dragon, and it again leads to this particular board. The Field Spell searches out your Willard, or, you know, your Breed Dragon, and then it's just child's play how you need to do this particular combo. You can upgrade it, but then you need to run like, or if you want, right, it's not really mandatory. You could run at level 1 Water Warrior Tuner. It's in the extra deck here in this in the deck profile, but you know, you could potentially summon it off of your Crystal Needle Fiber and then keep upgrading your stuff and end with something like a Ghost Ogre as well after you Moulinglacia to your opponent during the first turn. But I'm not really a huge fan of that. Again, you're just adding more quote-unquote bricks to your main deck next to the equips, right? Yeah, eventually I can attack for a game. Another example against Burning Abyss, I believe the opponent gets a start. That's a very solid start on his part. My opening hand, if I see the Field Spell, I'm happy. You can't go wrong with, you know, having the Field Spell. Everything searches out each other, right? Okay, that's a good start. It goes for Cherubine. I believe I have to Edge Blossom. Was it Graf? I believe it was Graf. But again, the Tour Guide, one of Tour Guide's follow-up play, very devastating. Lets him end with Beatrice as well. And I believe he used Skarn, right? Yeah, indeed. Skarn to search out Farfas, so no Beatrice just yet. A very good opening, I believe. Immediately dropping your Willard. And I believe I sent a Dark from my deck to the graveyard. You know, giving your all your Elementsabers and Lords the effect that they cannot be targeted by card effects, and I believe it was also the Wind. Yeah, the Wind prevents, I believe, Battle by Destruction. Again, my apologies if I mix them up. Again, but most importantly, here ending with the Tsukuyomi as well, being protected by Willard, and again have the Field Spell, so that's a free Book of Moon during your opponent's turn. Can be crucial against something like Burning Abyss to let those Burning Abyss monsters self-destruct, right? But again, Yeah, the fact that, you know, if you use a field spell or any of your elemental lords are sent to the graveyard, you can't go into the battle phase next turn, and that's, again, still a problem, a big hinder to this deck. Again, I know where it's coming from, but it's a problem, right? You can't really deal with your opponent's monsters unless, of course, you can, at least you had the option to search out your Thunder Lord and, you know, Raigeki your opponent's boards. I think I have to strike the Decode Talker maybe a bit too reckless, since again the Beatrice is going to give him a lot of advantage still, and I think it was in our previous turn I should have put the Breed Dragon Elemental Saber in defense position. No, it's set in this particular, yeah, indeed it was a previous turn, so that's like 1000 damage that I could have saved myself. But yeah, in the end it's not going to matter too much. Go for Isolde to try to get a surge to lure out the Phantom. Yeah, the Fog Blade indeed. Moulinglacia his hand. I believe the Thunder Lord wasn't... I believe Moulinglacia was the better choice in this particular situation. Again, the advantage of Willard, it pretty much protects me against like the whole deck, you know, Farfa not being able to banish my Elementsabers outside of Summon Sorcerer, so yeah, the Beatrice is saving him, right? Eventually up to go for a Akashic Magician as well to bounce back the Dante. Again, that gives me 2 free spots, so my Summon Sorcerers can return. I think I should be in a good position with the field spell phase up and the Tsukuyomi Elementsaber live. But he does rip the Cyclone and that's GG well played. I can't interrupt during my opponent's turn, I can't discard any Elementsaber. Yeah, of course the field spell is gone, so he can just deal the necessary damage. So a bit unfortunate, but that's how it is against Burning Abyss, right? Bar, extra burn damage, Nightmare Shark, so yeah, you're dropping in at least, yeah, very low on life points. Last example again, very solid 2-card combination on the field spell into, you know, Willard. Willard eventually also, yeah, before you also had access to the Breed Dragon and the Earth Elementsaber Reborning your wind monster you just sent to the graveyard thanks to Willard, and you know, keep upgrading thanks to your Isolde as well. You could go for Summon Sorcerers, but I don't think it's needed. Again, all your Elementsaber monsters are protected by Willard, and you're just able to, you know, Moulinglacia your opponent. Yep, that's a very good play on his part using Bakushka. So now I can't negate the Raigeki with the level 4. Not really sure about the name. The light Elementsaber that can, you know, can negate spells and traps. Very good move on his part. Yeah, bounce back the Bakushka, go for the Skull Deed, do special summon the Nalu, I believe the name is, you know, the water monster. I believe it's just fine at 2 in the deck. It's just an extra attribute to send from your deck to the graveyard with Willard. Drop the Moulinglacia again, super solid. Okay, the Gundy is going to activate, but you know, Instant Fusion, not Future Fusion, but Instant Fusion. 1000 times restrict and Link Karibo again. A solid field, still have my field spell intact. I have the Nalu on my side of the field to, you know, get back some resources if the opponent can't play or, you know, doesn't have any like answers. Not really sure. Yeah, indeed, I have to skip my battle phase, just again creating that soft lock since the field spell is still intact. Normal summon to Tsukuyomi. He does have Soul Charge, but I think I have to eventually use... Yeah, indeed. Here, Book of Moon, the Bahamut Shark. I don't want to deal with Totally Awesome. And now I should be able to go to battle phase, draw the Thunder Lord and Raigeki the entire board, and eventually attack for a game. So, I have very high hopes for the Elemental Sabers, but the biggest weakness is they're still very much relying on the field spell. I'm running some extra engines, Grinder Golem, for example, Gofu, etc. Scapegoat to, you know, give you more access, quicker access to Link Summon, Big Board, Skull Deed mainly. But yeah, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.